This is the Camp Chef Artisan Pizza Oven attachment sitting on top of a Camp Chef Explorer 2-burner stove. Now this accessory ran us $126. I looked for the best price possible and I found it from Overton's. Overton's is also owned by Camping World. It was rather difficult to find. The 14-inch deep model from front to back is a little more difficult to find than the 16-inch model. And when you do find it, sometimes it's going to be as high as $179. And again, I found it for $126 delivered. I did have some waiting time because it was drop shipped directly from Camp Chef. In fact, it took so long to arrive that I actually contacted Camp Chef directly and asked them if they actually indeed had my order from Overton. And they did. The customer service was very friendly, and they assured me we'd be receiving it. And a couple days later, it showed up. So it fits perfectly on top of the Camp Chef Explorer outdoor stove, and it's heated by the 2 burners here down below. It comes with a pizza stone that is wide enough to accommodate 2 12-inch pizzas side by side. I am going to be modifying this or making a cover for this front portion. The other thing to really be aware of is that if you use this pizza oven on top of an Explorer, be aware of the fact that these 2 knobs, which are actually located behind the front edge of the oven, are going to get blazing hot. I mean really hot, to the point where you could actually smell a little bit of plastic once it was going. So just be aware of that. It's not mentioned anywhere in the literature. If I had to do it over again, and if I knew I was going to be buying this pizza oven accessory, I would have probably spent the extra $60 or $70 to get the next model up of Camp Stove that would have the knobs on a front plate that would actually be in front of the oven, and that would alleviate this problem. But now that I'm aware of it, I know not to grab that knob with a bare hand, but use a pot holder. So using our $5 bread machine that I got at the thrift store, I followed the instruction booklet included with the bread machine and made some pizza dough. This is 1.5 pounds of pizza dough using all-purpose flour, olive oil, little salt, and some yeast. Once this is done, we'll start putting together the pizza. The pizza dough will be ready in about 6 to 8 minutes, so it's time to start getting the oven preheated. What I'm going to do is turn both burners on to about a medium and try to get this temperature to about 500 degrees. I do have one of those surface reading thermometers, so I'll be able to tell what temperature the stone is at. Hopefully we'll get lucky, because when I look off in the distance, I'm not really liking what I'm seeing, but we're still going to give this a shot today. Now, we don't have a pizza peel yet. I've ordered one, but we don't have it, but we're really anxious to try this oven out. So what I did was I went to Dollar Tree and got this metal plate, and we're just going to use this to form our pizza. I'm going to put the entire thing into the oven until the pizza bakes or par bakes long enough that I can then slide it off of the off this tray. I'll just use a little olive oil first, put the pizza dough on it. We'll build our pizza on this, and then just stick the entire thing in the oven once it's ready. When I was in high school, I worked at a pizza restaurant for a couple of years making pizza. And actually there we made our pizzas in pans all the time. It wasn't a thick dough, but we did use a very shallow steel pan. And what we did was we first put a little bit of olive oil on the pan, we spread the dough out, and then built our pizza and put the entire thing in the oven. So the pizza never really was on the floor of the oven. And our ovens were about 650 degrees, as I recall. They were not wood-fired, they were gas-fired, but the pizza was excellent. So I'm going to try to recreate that with our Camp Chef Artisan outdoor pizza oven. Right now we're showing anywhere between 170 and 185 on the stone as I scan across it. It's hotter over here to the left, so that burner's got to be up a little higher. I just noticed on the Camp Chef knobs with the pizza oven, the knobs get hot, so you got to be careful. Again, this is our first time using it, so we're learning together. I'm right now at 226 on the left-hand side, and I'm at 202, 205 on the right-hand side. And when I read the thermometer on top, I'm showing 310. So the air temperature that the thermometer is reading is going to be different than the actual surface. I picked this up at Tractor Supply on sale for $10. I mean, that's a lot cheaper than even Harbor Freight. And it seems to work fine. Of course, I don't know if it's calibrated, but $10. The pizza dough is ready. The 45-minute rise time is done. And time to get it out and start making our pizza. I removed the dough from the pan from the bread maker. I did turn it once to make a nice round loaf. And then I'm going to divide this in half. This is enough dough to supposedly make 2 12-inch pizzas. Now that the dough has been divided, I'm going to start building my pizza on this pizza pan. Again, I'm just going to put a little olive oil on, spread the pizza dough, and start building it. The dough is spread out. It did pretty well. Sometimes with fresh dough, you have a problem that it's real springy and it wants to keep contracting. And this did pretty well. I could spread it out a little more, but I don't want it to be too thin of a crust. Another trick is to actually take the dough and flip it over so that, especially if you're using olive oil on the pan, so you flip it over so that the dry side will be just a little stickier, if you will. And the shape of the pizza will then hold. But I'm good with that. If I were to get out a tape measure, I'd say that's pretty close to 12 inches. I'm a sauce guy. I like a good amount of sauce on my pizza. So I've got my pizza sauce spread. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of kick it up a notch using a pizza herb mix. And I'm just going to sprinkle that over it with a little bit of garlic salt. The herbs come from a company online called myspicesage.com. And we've been using them for about 4 or 5 years. My cousin turned me on to it a while back. And they've got a really fantastic assortment. Prices are very reasonable, and the herbs have always been fresh. So I got the cheese on it, and I'm not using anything special. In fact, I'm using something right from the store. You can see it's a mozzarella from Kraft shredded cheese. Going back to when I used to work at that pizza restaurant, my pizza mentor, if you will, his name was Al, an old Italian guy, and he was a big proponent of keeping a pizza simple. He liked cheese pizza or maybe one item. I'm a mushroom pizza guy, and we always used canned mushrooms in our restaurant. He said they held up better to the high heat of the oven, and it's just the way I like my pizza. So I'm going to open up a can of mushrooms, put them on, and we'll be ready for the fire. Okay, I've got the mushrooms spread on the pizza, and I'm just going to hit it with a little bit more of that pizza mix, and then we'll be ready to throw it in the oven. So let's do one last temperature check. My temperature on top is only 200. That makes me feel like our flame is not working. Whoa. God, son of a bitch. 291, 320, 335, 340. Those knobs get hot. Okay, we're reading about 375. I'm impatient, so I'm going to throw it in. The pizza's been in about 10 minutes, and the temperature was as high as 500. It's now down to 400. And I think a lot of that air temperature has to do with the fact that we have wind today, and it's blowing the hot air, so to speak, from inside the oven around and causing fluctuation. Now, when I used my surface thermometer, the highest temperature I got was 492 degrees. And let's see if I can find out what it is now. As you can see right now, we're at 430, about 440 right there, 450. And on the right-hand side of the pizza, we are at 357, 370, depending on where it is as I scan around. 390 over here as I get more over the right burner, 400. So I'm rotating the pizza every couple minutes to try to get an even bake on it. So I just checked it, and the pizza is now sliding freely on this pan, and I'm going to slip it onto the stone. Hopefully I'll be able to get it off. Well, I thought I was going to slip it onto the stone. Maybe I'm not going to. It doesn't want to come off the pan. That's the problem with the pan. It's got a lip on it. That's why I ordered a pizza peel. I'm determined to get this thing on the stone, so I'm just going to use my bread knife and see if I can work it off. There you go. All right. We're on the stone. I don't have any cornmeal down, so hopefully we won't have too much sticking. So check out the temperature. We're back up to about 525. And when I measure the surface, right in the center of the stone, I'm at 385, 380. Over to the right, up to 450. And this left front corner, if I can find my laser, there we go. 475, 500 I saw. So there's a fluctuation in temperature, but as long as you're aware of it, you can work with it. So I just took it off the pan literally a minute and a half ago, and I just rotated the pizza, and you can see it's as soon as it hits the stone, it's getting a nice crisp crust to it. The cheese is melting nicely. I'd say we probably have another minute or two to go on this pizza. Okay, guys, the wind is starting to kick up, as you can hear. I'm going to shut the oven down, and the bottom of the crust is really beautiful golden brown. So I'm going to shut this down. And I'm going to get it onto my pizza pan. So let me show you the bottom of it. Ooh, that pan is hot. Hold on a second. Okay, so there's the pizza. The cheese could maybe be a little more golden brown. I've seen guys lift it up in order to brown the cheese. And because I don't have a peel, I'm not going to do that. But the bottom of the crust is really beautiful. And the wind is causing me to shut this down. Guys, that's it. If you have any more questions about the Camp Chef Artisan Pizza Oven, we have it sitting on our Explorer 2 camp stove. I did a video of a review of that camp stove as well. I'll leave a link in the card above or in the description below. Okay, so that's it. The pizza took about 14 minutes to bake. But let me just show you real quick if I can. I'll see if I can get under here and show you the crust. The bottom of the crust is really beautiful. And again, the trick is get it off the metal pan and onto the stone. And that stone will absorb moisture out of the dough and create that crisp crust. So thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.